Welcome to week 5 of the Personal Breakthrough Training. And this is your overview for week 5. Again, continue with our morning and evening rituals and our breathing ritual. We're also going to we're going to look at how memories affect our mindset. We're going to seek unresolved negative emotions in our memories. And we're also going to look at the power of decisions this week. So day 1, our memory, that's what it's all about. We are our memory. So you're going to continue with the rituals. You're going to look at a question-focused statement and generate questions and share those. You're going to read the lesson, literally reading this lesson a minute or two. But there is a approximately 15 or so minute video that you're going to want to jot some notes down, watch that probably in the evening, and reflect on that as well as your other questions. It might take a little bit longer than you're used to. Probably 25 minutes, maybe instead of the 20. But again, if you do the morning ritual and you're doing 5 minutes of the lesson, then you could get this done in 25, 30 minutes total. And you're going to reflect. Day 2, it's about looking for negative emotions. Storing negative emotions in our body is not only bad for our health, it can interfere with your decision making and your performance. The easiest and best example I can probably give is if you think of an athlete or anybody who's been involved in athletics, and for example, a baseball player, a young kid who gets hit in the face with a pitched ball, all of a sudden now he's got fear, and that fear is being held on to, so he's afraid to get into the batter's box and hit again. All right? If that emotion's not dealt with, he'll never be able to perform as well as a baseball player. Think of somebody who's had a bad experience at school. So fear or anxiety around school, right? It makes it real hard to go to and attend well when you've got all those negative emotions still locked up around that. Okay, we're going to continue with our morning and evening and breathing rituals. Same thing, QFS, share your questions, read your lesson, and you're going to begin this process of identifying lingering, unresolved emotions that are attached to your memories. And you're going to reflect. So day 3, chains of emotions. So basically these unresolved negative emotions, they form what we call gestalts, which are like a chain of these emotions. So they kind of attach themselves to a previous memory, and that chain gets longer and longer. It can really drain your energy level. Fear will attract fear. Anger will attract anger. It also explains why something may trigger a memory and all of a sudden you feel a little sad and you don't even know what it was. Basically what happens is something triggered one of these memories along that chain, brings up that emotion, and kind of blindsides you a little bit, but you can feel that sadness or that anger, and you aren't really sure where it came from. That's your answer. It came from one of these emotions and something triggered that memory. So again, our rituals, QFS, sharing them, reading your lesson, and we're going to continue that process of identifying those unresolved emotions in your memories, and you're going to reflect. So still, we're looking more and more about emotions. There's 5 significant negative emotions we're after: fear, anger, hurt, sadness, and guilt. Those are the ones we're really trying to locate. There are others, but that's what our targets are. And again, we're looking at the different areas of your life, because you can have different emotions that prop up because of school, because of your personal life, your involvement in civic organizations, or church, religious kind of spiritual situations. And oftentimes some of those negative emotions around the spiritual and civic can be pretty strong. Now, saying that comes with a warning too. With this process, if you know you have any traumatic experiences, right? If you know there's something in your past that was really quite traumatic, this is not necessarily for you. This should be done with a therapist. The process, the practice we are doing should be done with a professional, all right, so that you're dealing with it then. However, most of us have these things, and yeah, they can be pretty powerful, but they aren't at the level of that necessarily require therapeutic intervention. Okay, so just know, like, if you saw somebody die in a car accident or something like that, something really traumatic, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, that this isn't for you. All right. So we're going to continue with our morning and evening rituals, QFS statements, read your lesson. We're going to keep identifying those negative emotions, reflect. All right, so we've got these chain of emotions, and that's it's kind of what we're looking for. And the chains can be not only a chain for each emotion. It's possible that you have a chain for different areas of your life. So you could have a chain of fear under personal life and one under your school life. Very often those end up getting combined, but sometimes they are separated. And we are going through that process of identifying them. So when we get to the point in this training where we release those, it can really be quite profound. All right. And depending on the intensity, the quote weight and size of the chain, both length and size of each link in the chain can depend on what that release feels like, right? So imagine lugging around big, heavy, giant chains, right? Even if they aren't long, the big, heavy links, and you release yourself from those, that's, whew, right? So, imagine if it's a long link, but it's like paper clip chain. Well, that's, it could be annoying and get in your way and all that. We want to get rid of it, but it doesn't weigh you down as much as other chains. So the releasing of it can have a real broad range of impact on people and how they feel immediately afterwards. So continue with your morning, evening, and breathing rituals. QFS, share your questions, read your lesson. We're going to keep identifying those emotions, trying to dig them up, and reflect. All right, self-identity and emotions. Now, again, people often have these negative emotions around different aspects of their life, the spiritual upbringing. That's often a big one, but it's not by any stretch of imagination. School for many people is. But those emotions also can get linked to parts of your identity. So all those adjectives that we had come up with, there's sometimes negative emotions attached to those. So through this whole process that we're doing, we're trying to uncover what those are, right? Again, morning, evening, breathing rituals, QFS, share your questions, read your lesson. And this will be the final day of identifying those emotions where you're really going to take those, keep those, and set them aside so that we'll deal with them when we get to that point. And then, of course, there is reflecting. So day 7 of the week is actually going to introduce us to this idea of decisions. And decisions do shape our destiny. They can drive us toward our dreams and our ultimate purpose, or they can end up acting as roadblocks or detours in the case of limiting decisions. And we all have made decisions that have limited us. So the real question is, how often, how many times, how cemented is that decision? All right? When that decision becomes a really strong belief, we really have to deal with it. All right? Example, a belief where I'm not good at math, I just can't do math. That is really setting you up to not do well in math. All right? Would never promise anybody that if you eliminate that belief, you will do better in math than any other subject. That's not the point. The point is you will do better in math than you are doing math with that belief. All right? So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. And we'll be introducing this idea of decision-making in this lesson, but of course we will do our morning, evening breathing rituals, share our questions, read the lesson, and we're going to just kind of go through this process of these beliefs. And you're going to reflect. And that will wrap up week 5, and I will see you all. I hope to see you all in our in the office hours. So take care, and see you shortly.